everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into Awareness. I'm your host, Billie Jean Shaw. Today, I introduce you to Roderick Byers, a beacon of hope and inspiration with a life journey defined by triumph over adversity. Byers is a former NFL player turned author who is helping young readers tap into self-discovery and growth while learning to be the best versions of themselves by becoming friends with their monster, a journey he's currently on. So I would like everyone to please welcome to the show, Roderick Byers. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You have such an interesting and inspiring story, and I want to start with your childhood because you told me that's where it begins, when you started tapping into your emotions and befriending that monster.
Yeah, so as a child, I want to say I was probably 5'2" in the second grade, 5'10", or 6 foot by the 5th grade, and so I really didn't have that space to, just be free to be a child because people told me that I was too big to be so silly. And so I kept a lot of my emotions bottled up. And I had a great supportive family, but I really didn't see validation, I guess, until I made plays or through football. And so that's kind of how I began to love myself and how I felt like I was loved. And so it kind of started in my childhood of valuing myself in performance and stuff like that.
And when it came to football, because that is what you were good at, that was your passion at the time. So you are saying you felt as if you only felt successful whenever you did something great on the field.
Yes.
How did that impact you as a child?
So as a child, I don't think I really understood it or didn't realize it. But now when I reflect back of my desire to play football, it's like, yes, I had that dream, but I really loved how the community talked about football players, and I loved how my uncles and my family would sit around and talk about the great things that guys did on the field. And so that really drove me to, want to do that, but also want that validation.
And for a little context for our viewers, you're from Rock Hill, which is known as Football City, USA. We know that amazing football players come out of Rock Hill every year and are drafted. And so having the pressure of growing up in a city that is known to produce great NFL players, and yet that desire for you wanting to play football yourself, that is kind of what your world was shaped around.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was every Friday night was sold out. The whole town would come and be a part of those football games. And so it was what we all looked forward to. And so as a young child, it was, like I said, it was how I valued myself and really just all I knew. I had a great supportive family and things like that, but it was I guess the environmental trauma that really shaped me young, as far as the pressure that it put on me to, save my family, to buy them a house, to do all of these things because people saw that I had talent and I had size. And so they all kind of pushed me towards being a football player. However, I did have aspirations of going to Harvard as a young kid and other things, but I didn't really feel comfortable in those spaces because people said, no, you big, you're athletic, so you should play football. So it kind of put me in a box.
When you reflect on your childhood and you think about the support that you had, which you said you had an amazing family, and you still have an amazing support system through your family.
Yes.
What is something that, despite having that supportive love from your family, what is something that you wish you had in addition to that?
I wish I could have saw it through that lens. I think when you're young, you really don't know, or really, they tell you, like, for instance, my family would say that they did a lot of things because they loved me, but in that moment, I didn't really feel that love. And so now as an adult, one of the things that I've had to do is mentor my perspective. And so I've had to go back to my childhood and look at it through the lenses of now a man and see that it wasn't how I perceived it to be in that moment.
Wow, that is really deep.
Yeah.
How are you able to do that? Because we don't hear men, especially black men, tap into their emotions and be so outward with it and letting people know, like, it's okay to talk about these things. It's okay to reflect on your childhood, because we hear the stories of black men that are dealing with trauma now because of some things that were not acknowledged when they were young boys.
Yeah, so it was a long journey, a process that, my faith kind of directed me in. But as a man, I realized that there was a lot of conflict with my thinking processes and my belief systems. And so, the real issue was that I was a man, but I had the process of a child. And so it put a lot of pressure on me subconsciously, and those around me put pressure on me, I think unknowingly, because I was so advanced in all these other areas as far as my wisdom, my direction, just always ahead of my time. But emotionally, I wasn't developed. And so I had to go back to that space to realize and recognize where I was emotionally, and then give myself grace, give myself time, be patient, love on myself. And then I was able to, finally start developing, and now I can, talk about it. I can process it, and it's an ongoing process, but it's a beautiful journey.
And help people, and through that journey, we're going to talk about the next step. After high school, after graduating, going to one of the top universities in South Carolina to play football. We're going to pause right there and pick up with more on Rodrick Byers' story after this. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.